YouTube, what's going on? It's Nasal Sean back at it with some Destiny 2. Alright folks, time to go over all the patch notes for hotfix 1.2.0.1 that comes along with Warmind as well as Season 3. Apologies for my voice, but I called myself Nasal Sean because my allergies are driving me crazy. My Yukon is not gray anymore, it's covered in green because the pollen count in New York City is awful. Alright guys, I'm just going to throw up some stock footage in the background, trailers, and then some gameplay that I captured when I went to Bungie Studios to play Warmind, and I'm literally going to just read through all of the patch notes of hotfix 1.2.0.1 that's going to come along with Warmind and Season 3. So let's just jump right into it. First off, when it comes to the player character, we have a new level cap if you own Warmind. So players who own Warmind may now reach level 30 and a power level of 380, and that's not including mods. It really will be 385 when you tack on modifications. Now, with regards to emotes, the multi-emote is now available, and players can now configure all 4 emote options with player-selected emotes. Emotes are now stored in a multi-emote page of the character inventory. The emote collection has been removed from the vault as emotes are now stored on the character. Let's jump into exotics. Let's talk about exotic kinetic weapons first and talk about the changes to them. Now, this is not the Masterwork changes. We're gonna have to go out, find those catalysts, grind them out, and figure out what those hidden perks are. But let's jump into the changes to exotic weapons right now. First off, we have Sweet Business. So Sweet Business increased the ammo gained when players pick up kinetic ammo, and they increased your ammo inventory. I believe when they gave us the preview, you could hold almost 1,000 rounds now. Vigilance Wing is getting a little bit of a buff. Recovery is set to maximum when the Last Resort perk is active. That's pretty useful because in PvP, Last Resort is non-stop rocking because everyone's dying around me. Now the Jade Rabbit, and I was wondering what's happening to Jade Rabbit, and I actually recorded every single exotic. I did tests prior to the update because I want to do it before and after, but Jade Rabbit, what's it getting? It's getting plus 20 stability. And that's it. Nothing else for Jade Rabbit. Now, the Rat King, we all saw the clips of it coming from Bungie, but let me read this for you. Enhance the total stat benefits of running with the pack. Benefits are front-loaded. They are now larger damage benefits when 2 people equip the exotic, with slight damage increases for each additional player. The Rat Pack perk can now activate and stack while the Rat King is stowed. Added HUD notification text for when the Rat Pack perk is active, increased your ammo inventory, and of course they made it full auto. Now for Crimson, we've got refined damage, rate of fire, and recovery time between the bursts, increased the ammo inventory. Next up, we're moving to the Sturm and the Drang. That's the combination of the sidearm and exotic hand cannon, Kinetic. For the Sturm, we have increased base stability stat. Overcharged rounds from Drang now deal 80% bonus damage. Added HUD status notification and visual feedback for when the magazine is overcharged. For the Drang, we have kills with the Drang reload the Sturm and add 1 overcharged round even if the Sturm's mag is not full. They're increasing the Drang's magazine size, and it now has Rampage on it. Moving on to exotic energy weapons, Hardlight can now be manually reloaded to change the damage type. Hits after its rounds bounce now deal double damage. And when I was recording the before footage, man, it's hard to get shots to ricochet off things and actually hit enemies. But I guess, I don't know, if you're in close quarters, might come in handy. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Hardlight. All right, Graviton Lance. This is the one I really can't wait to try out. So now fires a 2-round burst. They gave it increased stability, thank God. Recoil was a bit annoying. Reduced recoil on the final round in the burst. Void Bloom Explosion deals more damage. Void Bloom Explosion now spawns secondary Void projectiles. Enemies eliminated float up and back, detonating closer to their death location, and they added some more aim assist. Next up, we have Skyburner's Oath, and I am definitely looking forward to trying this thing out. All right, so we have plus 10 aim assist, plus 30 increased handling. Thank God, that thing definitely was so slow to aim on sight. Now has explosive payload perk, and hip firing now lobs slower moving projectiles, and they're gonna have tracking on them. Risk Runner now deals more damage while the Arc Conductor perk is active. Enhanced Arc damage resistance to 50% while the Arc Conductor is active, and Risk Runner is in the player's hands. Arc damage resistance is now enabled against Guardians in the Crucible. Arc Conductor can now be activated while the weapon is stowed, and they added Arc effects to the player while the Arc Conductor is active. Next up, here's some exotics I was really curious about because they haven't teased anything about these exotics. First off, Sunshot. increase the damage and the radius of the kill explosion. No numbers to go along with this, but like I said, I recorded all the exotics pre-Warmind in 1.2.0.1, so I'll be able to see how much damage and how much of that radius of the kill explosion was increased. Next up, we have Cold Heart, and I have not used this in a very long time. First off, the damage now ramps up faster. They're reducing the incoming flinch, and they're also increasing the precision modifier to 1.4. It was 1.05. Prometheus Lens is getting a little bit of a buff here, so they're increasing the magazine size to 100 rounds. It's going to deal more area damage and less beam damage, so you want to hold it onto a target. But they're also increasing the precision modifier to 1.4, and it was 1.05, just like Cold Heart. The good old Fighting Lion, the energy grenade launcher. It's going to deal more blast damage and also have less direct hit damage. They're increasing the ammo inventory, increasing your spawn ammo. Thank God. When I was testing this thing out, I was like, this thing has no ammo. Kills with this weapon guarantee an energy ammo drop. God, my New York accent's terrible. Energy ammo drop? Energy. Here we go. All right, exotic power weapons. Tractor cannon. Weapon damage now suppresses targets. Weapon damage now makes targets more susceptible to void damage plus 50% for 10 seconds. For the Darcy, the exotic sniper rifle, reduced flinch, reduced zoom on scope, increased the precision damage to locked on targets up to 4 times, and they also are increasing the aim assist. I don't know how they're going to do that because this thing already has aim assist galore. Moving on to the Borealis, and we did see this in one of the This Week at Bungie clips, but they're reducing the flinch, and then after breaking the shield of an enemy, and that could be in PvE, or a guardian using a super, with the matching elemental damage type, after you do that, you're going to get double damage for the remainder of the magazine. Lastly, for the exotic power weapons, we have the Prospector. Do you remember the Prospector? I don't. I haven't used it since I reviewed it. But someone caught this in the comment section of one of my videos. Grenades now stick to surfaces. Yeah, when Josh and Kevin did their stream, someone did spot that they got killed and it looked like the grenades were sticking. They do. Grenades now stick to surfaces. Grenades now can cause burn damage over time. Those are the only 2 changes to the Prospector. Next up, we have some changes to weapon perks. So first off, Pulse Monitor, that perk, now reloads 35% of the magazine, up from 17.5, and now can activate while the weapon is not equipped. Precision frames, they're getting a little bit of a change here. They fixed an issue that was causing inconsistent recoil reduction on precision category weapons, and the pattern is now more consistent as the weapon kicks. Now for lightweight grenade launchers, they adjusted breech-loaded grenade launchers so that they fire sooner out of a reload and fire sooner out of a sprint cancel. And lastly, for precision hand cannons, they're adjusting the ADS firing animation. Next up, let's talk about activities. Let's kick this off with PvE. So, changes to outgoing player damage scaling versus higher level combatants. Higher level combatants take longer to kill if you're below their level. Increase the outgoing and incoming damage scaling from capping at a 40 power level delta to a 50 power level delta. Overlevel combatants continue to increase in difficulty up to 50 power levels above the player. When enemies are 50 power levels or higher above a player, they will be immune to damage. Overlevel immune combatants will display a question mark icon next to the nameplate. Updated the damage dealt to combatant energy shields from the following weapon damage types. 3 times damage dealt from energy weapons matching the damage type, 2 times damage dealt from energy weapons of non-matching damage type, no bonus damage from kinetic weapons. Next up, let's talk about strikes. One of my favorite activities to do. I just throw on a podcast and I grind strikes. Heroic strikes are now going to feature the rotating modifiers. So at any given time, the following will be active on the heroic strike playlist. 1 elemental burn, that's going to have a weekly rotation. The daily rotations are going to have 1 advantage and 1 disadvantage. In addition to the above, the baseline difficulty of heroic strikes is boosted to be closer to the Nightfall difficulty. This week we'll be able to trade our rare challenge card for the Nightfall to a legendary Nightfall Strike challenge card. So this can be obtained from Xur at no cost by replacing your rare challenge card. The legendary tier adds additional slots for new advantages and disadvantages. Next up for the raid, we've got weekly lockouts for raid rewards because they are now class-based. Players running multiple characters of the same class will receive rewards only the first time they run the raid in a week. week. So if you have 2 Warlocks and a Hunter, and you run the raid on those 2 Warlocks, you're only going to get 1 set of drops. So they're encouraging us, have 1 of each character. I'm a Warlock main, but I still play every week and get all my milestones done on my Hunter and my Titan. Next up, let's talk about the tower. So seasonal ranks are now available for Vanguard, Crucible, Trials of the Nine, and Iron Banner. Also, vault size is increasing from 200 items to 300. Next up, let's talk about items and economy. And it looks like our milestones are getting a little bit of a nerf here. Let me read you this. Milestones now award a more balanced distribution of exotics between weapons and armor, but overall, they award exotics less often than before. Which kind of makes sense, guys. They want to extend the grind, and every time I cash in a weekly milestone, I get an exotic and a legendary. Mods and shaders can now be dismantled from the item detail screen. Items can now be dismantled from the Postmaster and the Vault. Season 2 exotic ghost shells that use destination perks now have a chance to have Polaris destination perks when initially awarded. And if you didn't know, that new Polaris destination material is called Seraphite. When I went to play Warmind at Bungie Studios and I was wandering around, I picked up a few of those. So that's just a new planetary material. It's called Seraphite. Now, as I covered last week, we are getting exotic quests back. This is confirmed right here. They are creating a pursuits category in the category inventory to contain pursuit tracking items such as those associated with exotic quests. Items in the pursuits category are specific to each character and are not shared across the account. So if you pick up an exotic quest on a particular character, you got to complete it on that character. Let's talk about Eververse. So players now may receive 1 bright engram per character, account limit of 3 from tests for seasonal milestones. Increase the number of items available for purchase via Bright Dust from 14 to 18. Additional slots will feature shaders and transmat effects. Now, I covered this last week, but they're introducing what's called the Prismatic Matrix to Eververse. So, at launch, 10 Eververse items from Season 3 are featured each week that the Prismatic Matrix is available. So you're going to need these things called Prismatic Facets. So an account's first well-rested level up each week is going to grant 1 Prismatic Facet, allowing 1 free use of the Prismatic Matrix. Players may hold up to 3 Prismatic Facets at a time. Additional activations may be purchased for 200 silver each. This item inventory is based on a knockout list and will not drop duplicates. Items earned via Bright Engrams, Bright Dust, or previous Matrix activations will contribute to this knockout list. Let's talk about clans. So for progression, a new set of clan perks is available for you to earn in Season 3. A new clan banner staff has been rewarded to those who hit clan rank 6 in Season 2. Next up, the nerf to clan Engrams, which I'm sad about but happy at the same time. You know, it was nice getting those items from Trials of the Nine, but I didn't deserve them because I wasn't playing Trials. But Clan Engrams, Trials of the Nine, and Raid Clan Engrams no longer grant Trials of the Nine or Raid weapons. These now grant Crucible and Vanguard rewards. These will no longer grant rewards above the player's level when reaching 340 power. The Nightfall and the Crucible Clan Engrams, they're going to grant up to 340 power. Guys, man, that grind from 340 to 380, not including mods, that's going to be a pain in the butt, man. Well, you know what? Look, if they could extend it out as long as they can, look, I'm fine with it. Let's talk about guided games. So a new set of guided games tickets has been granted to all players. Players can earn Leviathan Guide emblems that track the number of raid encounters and raids they complete as a guide. The emblem rewards an aura for 14 days when completing a raid as a guide. Once a week, while the aura is active, guiding a raid to completion grants a bright engram. So let's talk about some Crucible stuff here. So private matches are now available to all players. Players must own Curse of Osiris or Warmind to play maps from those respective releases in private matches. Adding the Crucible ranking system. We went over that ad nauseum. Next up, we have some changes to maps. So Curse of Osiris and Warmind maps are now available to all players in match-made Crucible playlists. New Warmind maps are going to be Meltdown and Solitude. And also in terms of game modes, Doubles is now going to be one of the weekly rotating Crucible playlists. All right, that's it, guys. So I can't tell if this is a cold now. Now I'm starting to think I have a cold, not allergies. Leave me a hashtag made it to the end. Oh, look, my voice is cracking. I definitely got a cold. Leave me a hashtag made it to the end if you did make it to the end. And hopefully by the time this video is live, Warmind is also live, Season 3 is live, and I will be streaming right here on YouTube non-stop throughout the next couple of weeks here. So that's it, guys. Do me a favor. Drop a like at this video only if you see fit. Follow me on the Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream. Usually, always on YouTube, and that's it. I'm out of here like Vladimir.